This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020. The following program has been rated G and is suitable for all audiences.
Jolly old St. Nicholas, lean your ear this way. Don't you tell a single soul what I'm going to say. Christmas Eve is coming soon. Now you dear old man, whisper what you'll bring to me. Tell me if you can.
On today's special edition episode of The Havery Show, I'm already tongue-tied because I'm starstruck. We have Papa Noel, Father Christmas, Kris Kringle, Santa Claus. Santa, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you on the show. We've known each other for years.
Yes.
And I am so blessed to be able to call you my friend, because not everybody can say that Santa Claus is their friend. But you know I love you, and you know that I appreciate everything you do.
Absolutely.
And to have you on the podcast is just, it's unbelievable. So thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Let it be known that this is the only place I feel like home other than the North Pole.
Well, thank you very, very much. That means a lot.
Yeah.
We have a lot of ground to cover.
Sure.
And I know there's going to be people that have a lot of questions, and I've got questions.
Mm-hmm.
I've asked a few friends, hey, if you could ask Santa Claus anything you want, what would you ask? So I've got some. I hope that's okay, that it's a little bit scripted.
No worries.
It's going to help me focus, because I'm even though you're my friend, it's different in this setting.
Sure.
So anyway, one of the most popular questions is, how do you make it down a chimney?
Well, obviously chimneys weren't made for anyone to go down. But Christmas magic works completely differently. It is really just a doorway that invites me, and anytime there is any love or Christmas spirit, just even a twinkle of it, it gives me an invite into the home. And I use that as a way to enter. And for a brief moment, I just become a part of the light and the warmth of the house.
Wow.
And I'm able to enter and take care of the kids and take care of the folks that are in there. And all it takes is just a little bit of belief.
Wow. That's fantastic. So I guess that same principle would apply to houses without chimneys. We're in Florida. There's not a whole lot of houses in Florida without chimneys. So I guess the whole thing about warmth and light would apply to almost anything.
Yep. I've never been limited by brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Solid walls mean nothing. It's all about the heart.
Yeah.
It's all about, just having that love and spirit. And, some people call it the Christmas key. Some people call it the Santa shimmer.
The Santa shimmer.
But all it takes is one little bit of hope, and I'm there.
Oh, that's fantastic. To this day, this bothers me, but there's a scene in The Grinch when he's climbing down the first chimney,
mm-hmm.
and he hasn't done it before,
mm-hmm.
and he gets stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the scene?
Yes.
That scene has made me uncomfortable since the time I was like 3 years old. There's just something about it that gives me the willies. The thought of being stuck in a chimney just wigs me right out.
Well, he doesn't have the Christmas key.
That's correct.
So
that's correct.
I would encourage anyone that doesn't, which obviously it's a very special, magical thing.
That's right.
To not attempt to go down any chimney.
Absolutely.
Or to enter a house without permission.
Especially in Florida.
Yes.
Especially in Polk County.
No Grinches allowed.
No Grinches allowed. Obviously, you're in and out of a lot of houses. These houses have animals. They have dogs, some pit bulls, some pretty dangerous animals. I've never, ever heard of any instance when Santa Claus had to be taken to the hospital for shots because he got bit by a dog in a house. You must have some kind of relationship with animals, I guess.
Yes, and animals are very intuitive.
Yeah.
They have the ability to see someone's heart, to see, what their intentions are. And they don't see the boots. They don't see the red, coat. They just see the heart.
Yeah.
And, they may sniff a little bit, but after that, they decide I'm safe and I'm okay to stick around for a midnight snack.
Yeah.
Even though they've probably stolen part of it.
Yeah, I wonder how many times kids have left out milk and cookies for you and that ended up getting eaten by the dog before you got there.
It happens more than you might think, but we always give them the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, that's funny. Speaking of the kids, leaving out the milk and cookies and whatnot, I know that I personally tried to catch you over and over when I was really little. I was never able to.
Yeah,
I tried staying awake so hard, and I tried listening for the bells and for the reindeer paws. I tried, but my eyes just wouldn't stay open. But have you ever been caught? Have you ever been caught by a kid?
Well, let's just say there might be a non-disclosure clause or two out there. But I will say this, that kids are very clever.
Yeah.
But the Christmas magic is just a little more clever.
That's fantastic.
And we have a tendency to just kind of take advantage of that. And the kids just kind of, no matter how awake they are, they just kind of go to sleep before we get there. Yeah. And unless there's just a rare occasion, they're just not quite clever enough. And you gave me a few runs for my money.
Well, I'm glad to know that.
Yes.
I'm glad to know that. And maybe, I like to think that maybe I was just a blink away from catching you.
But the surprise is part of it.
It really is. Well, the house next door. I mean, I don't know how many Christmases that you came over there for my family and for me, and I kind of feel bad about this because it's extra work for you. But as you know, my family came from the north, and in New York, the tradition was that Santa Claus brings everything, the tree, the decorations, everything on Christmas Eve. So all my friends, they all had their trees set up right after Thanksgiving. And like, why don't you have a Christmas tree yet? Because Santa brings it. It's like, you don't still believe in Santa. Yes, I do. And he's bringing me the best tree ever. So that was pure magic for me as a kid, but extra work for you. So thank you for that.
Well, yeah, but we have a lot of helpers.
Yeah, well, you do.
And those helpers make all the difference in the world.
So Santa's helpers has always been a thing. I remember my mom, because I would see a Santa Claus like at Grant's. I don't know if you remember Grant's. It's Bell's Outlet now. But I remember seeing a Santa there and thinking, he doesn't look quite right. And my mom said, well, that's one of Santa's helpers. Oh, okay. So can you elaborate a little bit? Tell us a little bit about who are Santa's helpers? What do they do? What's their purpose?
Well, Santa has a lot of helpers, and children may meet me in many different locations. Sometimes it's me. I try to get out whenever I can. But other times it's Santa helpers, and they are handpicked. They're selected by me. And those individuals have the spirit and the heart of Christmas. And they love children, and they're there to serve in a capacity that equals what we try to do on a regular basis. And they all carry a piece of the North Pole with them. They all carry a heart and love for Christmas, just like I do.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And that makes all the difference.
So not just any old person gets to be a Santa's helper. It's really a big deal.
Yep, special people.
Yeah, to wear the suit anyway. Now, of course, moms, dads, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, anybody who wants to carry on that Christmas spirit can elect to be a Santa's helper just by buying presents and wrapping them and things like that. That enters into the Christmas spirit, and you take on the spirit of Santa. So can you elaborate on that a little bit when moms, dads, relatives, friends get involved?
Yeah. So anybody can help Santa, and moms, dads, and families know the kids way better than anybody else could.
Yeah.
And, when parents fill stockings, when they help wrap gifts, read bedtime stories, and carry on the spirit and the heart of Christmas, they're all doing Santa's work. They're all helping in a way that makes a difference. And I don't do this alone. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that are involved, and they're all part of the team. Sometimes it's even your older brother or your older sister.
Sure.
That get involved and just help bring the spirit in a way that makes it meaningful.
Absolutely. I know that when Dawn and I were first married and we had our kids, we had you do the bulk of the work for the first couple of years anyway. And then there's something about giving that's not like anything else.
Yeah.
So even though we missed you on Christmas Eve coming, we took on the mantle and started being one of your helpers and started being helpers for you. And that is its own special kind of Christmas magic.
It is.
And just because you can get Santa to do something for you, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should. I don't know if that sounds right or not, but you get what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
To be able to take on the responsibility of being a Santa's helper is a wonderful, magical thing in and of itself.
It is.
Yeah.
It helps make the spirit grow.
Yeah.
You begin to allow that little bit of light to become bigger in each one of you, and then it spreads past Christmas Day, and that generosity becomes, a lifelong badge that we all wear.
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful thing. This is going to be a tough one. Not all kids believe in Santa Claus, either because they've gotten too old. Mm-hmm. That's probably the most common one, or they were raised in a house that has a different set of beliefs, and they don't celebrate Christmas. They celebrate maybe Hanukkah, or they celebrate Denali or Kwanzaa or something like that. So they have a different belief system. Mm-hmm. And I would think that you love all those children exactly as much as you do with the ones who do believe in you.
Absolutely. We're not limited by an individual's belief. Yeah. They're all sharing a love and kindness and caring for each other. And they love their children and the children around them just like we do. And that's still a special moment for them. So we continue to bring a little bit of light and a little bit of brightness to each one of them. And whether they're, whether the children get everything perfect, whether they struggle with things, whether they're silly, all of them have an individuality that is what is special about them and what we focus on. And that individuality is part of what brings the Christmas spirit, and celebrating each one of their accomplishments and what they're able to do. It's not about perfection, it's about the spark of wonder and, children trying and learning new things.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's wonderful. There's, I mentioned Papa Noel, Father Christmas, Kris Kringle. Can you tell us a little bit about your roots? Your backstory, I guess, would be a...
Okay. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version.
Okay. Right.
So long before I was known as Santa Claus, I was known as Nicholas.
Yes.
And I was a follower of Jesus. Mm-hmm. And, that makes all the difference in the world. And that's what I tried to do. I tried to give generously like Jesus did. And, children are the future. Children are the innocence and the heart that just allows for us to, smile and grow and enjoy, what life is. And when they bring that innocence and that special, it gives us an opportunity to celebrate that. And, over the centuries, the story just kind of changed from different areas and different countries, and they all added and brought different pieces to it. And that doesn't bother me. It just means that the story is good enough to continue to tell over and over again.
It's timeless, isn't it?
Yes.
It really is. Speaking of that, there have been so many books, movies, et cetera, et cetera. Do you have a particular Christmas movie in which you were portrayed that is your favorite? Do you have a favorite Santa movie?
I don't know if I have a favorite. I've seen many of the movies, and some of them get surprisingly close.
Really?
But they all have, their own little things. Some embellish a little bit. Some kind of change the process, and that's okay. There's a lot of room for imagination to go along with that.
Oh, yeah.
And, there's probably still parts that people will come up with between now and then. And I love it all. It really just allows folks to get behind the idea and the understanding. And, whether I wiggle my nose and go down the chimney or whether, I'm climbing through a window, whether I actually live in the North Pole or whether we use radar,
right,
doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
It's all fun to watch.
That's right, it is. Yeah, I've got to go with Miracle on 34th Street, I think. The original one.
Yes.
The black and white one. I tried to watch the colorized version. I think I made 15 seconds and I couldn't take it. I had to have it in black and white. I had to have the original. The Rankin Bass ones, Santa Claus is coming to town and The Year Without a Santa Claus with I'm Mr. Heat. Yes. I love those. I started watching Christmas Carol too. Mm-hmm. I probably watch 15 different versions of Scrooge or A Christmas Carol every year.
Yeah.
I think it drives Dawn a little crazy.
There's many.
Yeah,
many,
there
many.
are. They're so good and they're so different. Same thing with the Christmas, the Santa movies. I love them all.
So I will say that speaking of movies, there's been a long-going debate on whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie. So what would you say? Would you say Die Hard is a Christmas movie? And then I'll tell you mine.
It's funny that you say that because we watched it last week. Mm-hmm. Me and Dawn watched it last week. Haven't seen it in years. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to say yeah. Even though the content is anything but jolly, happy, warm, fuzzy. It's a violent movie. It's a hard movie.
It is.
But there's a lot of Christmas elements to it.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your take on it?
I would say that it is a Christmas movie. It happens around Christmas. Yeah. There's Christmas themes in it. There is the idea of a savior.
Yes.
And it kind of has a bit of a storyline where not only is the place under attack, but the time and the idea is under attack. Mm-hmm. So, and Christmas and the hero is triumphant.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Santa says it's a Christmas movie.
All right. There. That's it. Santa says. Christmas Eve is one of the most magical nights of the year for me personally, because I get to do so many of the things that I love. We have we have family over, we have cold cuts, and I make punch, and we read the Christmas story from the Bible, and then I read the Santa Mouse books, and I recite "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." And we have this thing that we've been doing now for years that carries on all the way back to the old house here with my mom.
It's part of Christmas.
It really is. So, but Christmas Eve has got to be entirely different for you. What does Christmas Eve feel like for Santa Claus?
Christmas Eve is a moment of excitement. The entire world is taking a deep breath.
Yeah.
A happy time that just exudes excitement. And everything's a little brighter. Everything's a little cleaner and neater. And the Christmas in the air, regardless of where you're located. There's just a special feel in the air.
It is.
And that's worldwide. It happens everywhere. It doesn't matter whether you're, in the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. And everybody gets excited, even the reindeer.
Even
act
the reindeer.
as if they can hear the children's voices already, even before we take off.
That's great. Oh, I love that. Speaking of the reindeer, obviously they're companions. They're more than just livestock. They're more than just your basically your engine for your sleigh. What's it like in the North Pole? I know you've got the reindeer, you've got the elves, of course you've got Mrs. Claus. Do you ever get lonely?
Sure, but not long. I mean, it doesn't take very long, and there's just so many things going on, and there's tons of stuff to do, and of course, Mrs. Claus keeps everything moving in a direction. So the timeline, and we just know that there's always something that has to be completed. But the thing that consumes most of our time and keeps us busy is, reading letters and the wishes and the stories from the children. And it's hard to be lonely when you have the opportunity to see a little glimpse into each one of their little hearts and their eyes and their minds.
Yes.
And that keeps us company all year long.
I think that's a beautiful thing. And along those lines, and I want to talk more about letters and stuff in a few minutes, but you told me ahead of time that you were going to need to bring your pad, and you're going to be checking letters, you're going to be checking notes, you're going to be checking the naughty and nice list as we go. And I think it's so cool. Everybody imagines the big scroll, with the handwritten stuff. And I'm sure that's how you did it, a century ago, or maybe even 50 years ago, but with new technology, and which, by the way, the North Pole is on the forefront of new technology. So when did you transfer your lists, your letters, or are you getting emails? When did you transfer that to electronics?
Well, let's just say we had technology before Apple released the iPhone.
Sure. Oh yeah. I'll bet long before.
we have been using literally anything we can to bring the spirit of Christmas to folks. And that includes everything from digital to the latest and greatest transportation.
Yeah.
There's no limit.
It's fantastic. I think it's wonderful. I don't mean to be nosy, but every once in a while I kind of glimpse over there because I'm kind of looking to see if you pull up the naughty and nice list, because I hope I'm on the nice list.
Well, there is one. Sure. I can't show it to you, but
no, I don't think I'd want to see it.
Yeah.
You know why? I used to snoop around looking for presents when I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
And when I found them, I had the initial excitement of, and then I realized now I'm not going to be surprised on Christmas morning. And so I stopped.
Yeah.
I found presents one year, and then I never looked again.
That's the biggest part of it, is the surprise.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't want to lose that magic. So what is one thing you wish that grown-ups could remember about Christmas?
Well, that's easy. Christmas is not about something you buy. It's about your heart. It's about the love. Sometimes parents get caught up in the wrapping, and I got to get this, and kind of in the whole thought process of what the things are, and gifts are part of it, but giving is the biggest thing.
That's right.
And them realizing that the time they spend together, that the memories they create, that the traditions that they spend time doing are going to carry on long after, just like you continue to do traditions that have been in your family for many years.
That's right.
Your kids and your grandkids will remember that long after they forget what they got on a particular Christmas.
So true. That is so very, very true.
And if they could remember that, then they will have a Merry Christmas every year.
Yeah.
This episode of The Havery Show is being brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020.
You get so many kids that you have to look after and keep an eye on. I don't think Santa necessarily plays favorites, but when kids make mistakes and they mess up, are you disappointed in them? How do you feel when kids make mistakes?
Everybody makes mistakes.
Yes.
It doesn't change whether I love them or not. I love all the children.
Yeah.
What's important to understand is that mistakes are not necessarily failures. They're opportunities to learn and to grow. Mm-hmm. And when they make mistakes, they all have an opportunity to move forward. And that's what we encourage is growth more than the scorekeeping, mm-hmm. what's going on. And when they try to get it right, that's the magic. When they put forth the effort to do something that is, an improvement or just a task that, maybe we all have to do.
Yes.
But that's what makes them special. That's what we focus on, and that's what I value most out of each one of them.
Yes. Along those lines, is there something that kids do, not just at Christmas, but throughout the year? Is there how are kids important in your life? What do they do throughout the year that's special to you that's not even necessarily Christmas related? I guess what I'm asking is what is something that children do all year to make your year better?
Well, I would say that, we get letters and Christmas wishes all year long.
Yeah. All year long.
All year long.
Wow.
Of course, the flood happens right before Christmas, but,
of course.
There are kids that maybe just whispers in before they go to bed, nighttime wishes. And it gives us an opportunity to see each one of them and where they're at. And, there's a lot of special kids out there that they're just trying to figure things out.
That's right.
And a lot of times they just have an unspoken wish or something on their heart. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that turns into a letter. Yeah. And they'll send a letter to Santa Claus, and it, sometimes it's just what they want, but sometimes it's what they want for others. Mm-hmm. And those are really special. And it's hard to be anything other than happy and joyous when you get communications like that all year long.
Wow. So those letters, do you save them? Do you scan them and digitize them? What happens to all those letters? I'm a pack rat.
Yeah.
So I tend to save things that I probably oughtn't save. But so what do you do with your letters at the North Pole when you get them?
So everything's documented, but not everything is saved.
Gotcha.
So while we know, and a lot of it is internalized because I read it all. Not everything comes in a physical form.
Yep.
But there is a recall, and there is a knowledge of each individual's communication, letter, wishes. Sometimes those are things that an 8-year-old writes that maybe when they're 28. They would not necessarily want any additional documentation. So, Santa's secret.
Yes.
But we know.
Yeah. Are there any, I know when our kids were little and they would paint a painting or something like that, and Dawn and I would stick it on the refrigerator. Have you ever gotten any letters or pictures or anything like that just were so special that that they had that maybe you saved them? You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Anything refrigerator worthy over the years? Yeah.
Well, I save all of them in my heart.
In your heart, of course.
And, but some of them stand out more than others. Yeah. I mean, you always have that little thing. And I remember a specific letter that was sent by a little girl. She probably was not more than 6 years old. Mm-hmm. And, but what she had to say and her understanding was so much greater about Christmas than many other things. And her letter just basically said, share these cookies with somebody that deserves them more than me.
Wow.
that could use them more than me. And you think about that, and she's 6. Where did she get that idea from? That comes from the heart. It's not something, most kids are just, cookies, I want them, or whatever I see, I want them. And, sharing's a concept that takes some of us a little while to learn.
Yeah, that's a fact. Some people never get the concept.
Yeah. So when I see that, it affects me. It's something that sticks around forever, and I'll never forget that.
That's wonderful. Do you have a specific, or I don't know, a special memory, a Christmas memory that stands out above the rest?
Man, there's just so many.
I can't imagine. We're talking about centuries.
Yeah.
Centuries.
There's just so many that just feel things, and they just kind of flood back at different times.
Right.
As you go, as I'm going about Christmas or Christmas Eve, I'll see someone, I'll recognize them, and of course, they may not know whether I'm Santa Claus or one of the helpers, but I remember Stephen, and that particular year, he had a special request, or maybe he stayed up and spent a lot of time, energy, and effort trying to track me down and listen. And, he ended up falling asleep, and literally just as I was leaving, falling out of the chair. Those things recall, you just recall them when you see people, and things like that as you're going throughout the day.
That's wonderful. Was there an actual Stephen who you remember there? Yeah.
Yes. We will refrain from sharing the rest of his name to protect the innocent.
That's fine. What about your elves? What you got them working year round? Do they get summer vacation? How does that all work? What do they do when they're time off?
Well,
if they have time off.
Well, everybody gets time off. We're busy. We're always busy, but there's always time for rest and relaxation. And that's part of what Christmas is about.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a lot of stuff going on, but what we really want is for folks to take time to be with their families and to remember that is as much a part of the season as anything else is.
Absolutely.
And, they all have varying interests. Some of them will go fishing. Some of them will, travel. Some of them will do some extracurricular things that involve special appearances and other little, they are mischievous from time to time. And but they're happiest when they're actually making and doing things. So, they all have their own little hobbies.
It's great. What about the reindeer? Do any of them stand out, having more personality than others, or which one has the most personality?
Well, they all have a personality in a different way. Dasher thinks everything's a race.
Of course.
And he's got to be first to everything.
I guess that's why he leads the pack unless it's a foggy night and Rudolph takes lead.
Prancer's always worried about his appearance. Always looking, in the ice, looking in the tin roof, looking wherever he can.
Oh, yeah.
Always, a little bit of everything. Rudolph is braver than he knows. The kids love him.
Yeah.
And you have Vixen, loves to prank everybody. He's always
really?
in time, doing little things, taking people's stuff, just, and of course, acting like, he doesn't know anything about it. And Cupid gives hugs at inconvenient times. Is a bit socially awkward. You're trying to do something, and there they are, right smack dab in the middle of it.
Wow.
Of course, Blitzen tries to pretend like he's the tough guy. They all have their own little personality. They all have their own little thing. That's what makes it.
Do too.
That's what makes it so interesting.
Did they get jealous when Rudolph got his own song?
Oh, they all have their own song. It's just not that pop. They may not be as popular.
I got you.
But they all got their own little song. They won't sing it, but they're all happy for each other.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. You ever get nerves? You ever get nervous doing what you do?
Yes, but it's not like a nervous fear. It's more of a concern that and nervous that presents and the gifts and the things for the kids are going to be meaningful and are going to be, special for them. It also reminds me of how important the day is, and it gives me just kind of a bit of a grounding to say things like, I want to do well today. We want to make sure that today is as special for everybody as it can be.
Mm-hmm. Very wonderful. Is there anything, because everyone has their own kind of idea of what the North Pole must be like. Is there anything that would surprise people about the North Pole? Like the workshop, for instance?
I think they would be surprised that it's not just all, wooden hammers and antique stuff, like we spoke about technology.
Sure.
There's a little bit of everything. There's traditional toys.
Mm-hmm.
There's electronic toys. There's things that, kids haven't even thought of yet. We're constantly doing research. We're constantly trying to create and make. And I think they would be just surprised. They would be very surprised at just how broad things are there.
Oh, I can't even imagine what the research and development at the North Pole must be like. It just boggles my mind. My head is swimming with questions, but we need to narrow it down because your time is extremely valuable, especially in December. But if you could teach one thing to children about giving, what would be something that comes to mind?
If I could teach children one thing about giving, it would be that giving is not losing. Giving is gaining.
Yes.
When you give, there is something magical that happens.
That's right.
It changes your heart.
Yes.
It changes your love. It changes your person as a whole. And it sparks a little something.
That's right.
That can grow.
Yeah.
And as you give and continue to give, that generosity grows on you on a daily basis. And if I could just remind them that giving is not losing, it's gaining. It's giving them something that is far greater than any material thing they can hold in their hand.
Amen. That is the absolute truth. What about anything funny? What's maybe one of the funniest things that's ever happened to you on a Christmas Eve on your travels?
Well, there's always the antics that go on. The elves, we've left key people behind and had to swing back around and get them.
Oh, no kidding.
That's always funny. I remember one time that I was at a particular house and somehow their pet kitten, their little kitten, got into my toy bag. And, of course, I had no idea. And I pick it up, and here we are halfway across, the world, and I find the kitten, and I'm like, great. So, what do I do now? So that kitten ended up riding with me on my beard, and we had to send out the candy cane rescue sleigh to get that kitten back to where it was. Because, think about it. You can have all your presents you want, but if your kitten's missing Christmas morning,
oh yeah,
so I ended up smelling like cat hair and candy canes until New Year's.
Yeah, well, cat hair and candy canes.
And the kitten, of course, had an adventure, but fortunately, nobody else knows about it. Maybe they do now.
Now they do.
So.
I think I already know the answer to this, but how do you keep up the joy all year long in a world that it's becoming more challenging to remain joyful? How do you do it? What's your secret?
Well, joy is not something that I chase after. Joy is a choice. It's a decision. It's something that you choose to do by looking for the blessings around you, for looking for the things that are special and important. And they're all around us. Yeah. It's just taking the time to to frame them and realizing that those things are valuable and those things, those blessings bring joy to you and bring joy to others. And it can be anything. It can be a note on the fridge. It can be, for a parent, it can be their children telling them that they love them. It can be just the perfect moment where the snowflake lands in the picture perfect place, and you just take delight in that. And
That's right.
when you're looking for those things, there's no shortage of them. They're around you every day.
Yeah.
And just to be able to sit here and share time with you.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
I am taking delight in this. You better believe it.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's fantastic. The naughty and nice list. That's a controversial thing because when a child does something naughty, sometimes they're told they are a naughty child, and that is not the case. A child who does a naughty thing does not necessarily make them a naughty child. So the naughty and nice list, let me have some of your thoughts about that and why it's important.
It's very important, and it's probably one of the most misunderstood things about Christmas. So most people think that it's a scoreboard. They think that it's finite, that you're either on the naughty list or you're on the nice list, and that there's no room in between. But we don't necessarily track every mistake. What we do is we keep track of our improvements. We keep track of the things that show that we're making progress. And, everybody has a bad day.
Yeah.
Sometimes it starts out a good day and you have a bad day. But the nice list is not about being perfect. It's about trying.
Mm-hmm.
And when somebody is on the naughty list, it's never permanent. Yeah. Everyone has the opportunity to come off the naughty list,
Yes.
And sometimes it just takes a single moment of, maybe saying, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe backing up and trying to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe going ahead and doing your homework,
Mm-hmm.
even though you pitched a fit and said you weren't going to. And the most favorite thing that I can do at any point in time is to scratch somebody's name off the naughty list.
Yeah.
And it's about second chances. It's about redeeming yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And all it takes is a moment. And we look for those moments to make a difference for each one of those kids. And it's amazing what they do.
It is. All it takes is a moment.
Mm-hmm.
That is very, very profound.
Yep.
I think I would like to end on that, but I always ask my guest at least one quirky kind of oddball question.
Okay.
So here we go. If I could be any superhero, if I could be any superhero, I would be Santa Claus. I have a second and a third and a fourth. That's a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if Santa Claus could be any superhero, who would Santa Claus be?
Well,
Nothing like putting you on the spot.
man, I don't know that I've ever classified myself as a super.
Oh, you're a superhero.
And I don't know that I've ever thought about if I could be a superhero. Who would it be?
Have I stumped Santa Claus?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe there's just, because now that I think about, if you're going to classify me as a superhero,
Yeah. Top shelf.
what else, what does any other superhero have that I would
Wow, that is so right. That is so true. You wouldn't trade any of that.
not that I know of.
Wow. That's a better answer than I could have even dreamed. in my mind, I'm thinking, is he going to say Superman or Batman or Spider-Man or Captain America? But you're Santa Claus.
I mean, we all love our superheroes, but what superhero, and all superheroes are driven by kindness and a concern for mankind.
That's right.
But what superhero gets to do what I get to do? I mean, I get to see and hear and impact every child, whether they completely believe or not. And we have a connection that not every superhero has. So, I don't mean to throw things back at you in a different way. But,
this was, I couldn't think of a better answer than that. That is fantastic.
Why not be me?
Why not be me? Man, all it takes is a moment, and why not be me? Those are profound words from Santa Claus himself.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho. I love you, Sandy. Thank
Love
you for
too,
everything.
Man.
I will, if I don't see you before then, I'll see you. Well, I'll see you around.
Well, there'll be signs.
Yeah, there will. I'll be looking.
Absolutely.
All right.
The Havery Show has been brought to you by Heartland Tax and Accounting, 863-385-5020.